Find your way here.
Find your way here.
Find your way here.
To a community of people guided by the wisdom of a goddess and the spirit of a warrior.
At UNC Greensboro,
we transform lives every day.
Every day. On campus, in our hometown, our home state,
and around the world.
Start with excellence.
Find your passion, your purpose, your inspiration here.
Through research and teaching, scholarship and service.
Competing for championships and seizing our moments.
We welcome every Spartan, just as they are, just as we are.
Just as I am.
I am.
I am.
We start with excellence.
And after graduation,
we excel, we achieve, we make an impact.
Find your wow, your breakthrough, your aha moment, your pride, your story here.
by being true to our core, we have earned the right to say,
we are the best at what we do.
We are.
We are.
We are UNC Greensboro.
A national leader in a thriving city.
Right here in the heart of North Carolina.
Find your way.
Find your way. Find your way here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Stone Yates, and I'm an admissions counselor here at UNC Greensboro. And tonight we will be going over the final steps that you'll need to take before classes start. I'm joined this evening by representatives from the Financial Aid Office, the University Registrar's Office, Students Health Services, and cashiers and student accounts. I'm going to actually go ahead and let our panelists introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what they do here at UNCG. And I'll just go through people in the order as they appear for me on my screen. So Deborah, if you'd like to take it away.
Thank you, Stone, and welcome everybody. My name is Deborah Slade. I'm the Assistant Director for Outreach in the Financial Aid Office, and we're just so glad that you're joining us tonight. Get your questions in. That's what we're here for, to answer those questions for you, get you ready, and get started for the fall semester.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Todd.
Hey, good evening. This is Todd Mitchell. I'm Director of Cashiers and Student Accounts at UNCG. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I've been at UNCG for a little over 20 years as an employee, and before that as a student. So just know that we are here to help you with any of your questions. It can be a little intimidating being a new student, but everyone here has your best interest at heart, and that's what we're here for tonight. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Todd. Dina.
Hey everyone, I'm Dina Kowal. I work in the University Registrar's Office. I'm a transfer credit and articulation analyst, which is a fancy way of saying that I review your transcripts and evaluate your transfer credit. So AB, IP score, AP, IB scores, community college credit, things like that. Me and my team of 3 help you with that. I look forward to helping you guys today.
Awesome. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Rashawn.
What's going on, Spartans? My name is Rashawn DeBerry. I work in Student Health Services. I am the communication specialist. I handle all the digital media, digital print for Student Health Services and our medical clinic here. I too am an alumni of UNCG, and it's just a wonderful place. And again, as mentioned earlier, we are more than happy to have you, and we're more than happy to help you with any questions you may have.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you all for sharing and for agreeing to participate in our panel tonight. Before we move on to the presentation portion, I do want to remind everyone that this is live and you should be seeing a number on screen that you can text. If you any point during the presentation, if you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to send us a text. You can ask us anything. Those messages will be shared with me, and I will be able to ask them to our panel live after the presentation when we get to our Q&A portion. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get this presentation started. All right, so just to reiterate, I'm going to begin briefly by going over some final steps, after which we're going to open the floor up for questions. So again, remember, at any point you can text your questions to the number you see, and we will answer them live. So I want to begin, like I said, by going over all of the final steps very briefly. As you can see here, there are many steps you must take between confirming your intent to enroll here at UNCG and starting classes. And while many of these steps do not need to be completed in this exact order, the first thing you're going to want to do is claim your accounts, which I'll touch on a little bit more in depth in the next slide. So once you've done that, you can proceed to do some other things like register for Soar, which is orientation, apply for housing, view and accept your financial aid package, submit your immunization records, take any placement exams, upload a photo of yourself or your student ID, complete any additional forms such as the W-9S tax form that you may be required to complete, submit your final high school transcripts, provide proof of insurance, and finally, paying your bill for the fall semester. So I'm going to begin by talking about claiming your account. So there are a couple different accounts that you can utilize during your time here at UNCG. The first is going to be iSpartan. iSpartan is going to be your student email account. So that's going to be username at uncg.edu. So whatever your username is that you set up, it will be at uncg.edu, and you will use that to email your professors and other campus offices. We suggest that you keep the student account separate from your personal email account, but you are free to use it for anything that falls within the acceptable use policy. Now, we also have our Canvas accounts. So Canvas will provide access to your course websites, course discussion threads, and even the digital Dropbox where you will submit some of your term papers, depending on how your professors or instructors have your particular class set up. And then lastly, you have Unc Genie, which is your connection to all of your registration data. And so this is what you'll use to access degree evaluations, register for classes each semester, view and pay your bill. This is where you'll go to check your final grades, to update your address, contact information, telephone, email, emergency contact, as well as the place where you will go to apply for graduation. Now, you can find links to all of these accounts conveniently located in the same place, which is going to be ispartan.uncg.edu, which you can see here on the right-hand side of the slide. Now, as you're creating your accounts, you're also going to have set up your username and password and something called an ID number and your PIN, or your personal ID number. So these are two sets of credentials that you'll need to log into your accounts. Typically, your username and password are always asked for together and are required for logging into most accounts, except for something like Unc Genie, for example, which utilizes your university ID and PIN. Note, you should have received an email after you were admitted, which will contain your university ID, after which you'll create your PIN at getmypin.uncg.edu. Approximately 1 to 2 business days after you confirm your intent to enroll, you should receive an email containing instructions for claiming your UNCG email on iSpartan. Now remember, username and password will always go together, and your university ID and your PIN will always go together. So hopefully that will help clarify things a little bit. Now, once you've got your account set up, the next thing I recommend doing, if you haven't done so already, is registering for Soar. Soar stands for Spartan Orientation, Advising, and Registration, and it is required for all new students. So Soar is an interactive program designed to support students and their families as they transition into this new academic environment. Soar registration has opened already, and you can go ahead and register for that now if you have not already done so. For students entering fall 2021, Soar will be hosted in a virtual format where you'll meet other new students and learn about campus resources to help you feel more prepared to make a successful transition. If you have any additional questions, I highly encourage you to reach out to the Soar office directly, and you can do that using the contact information provided here. Now, once you register for new student orientation, I would also recommend going ahead and applying for housing if you have not already done so. So 80% of our first year full-time students do live on campus. So make plans to apply for housing early for your best chance at the #1 residence hall of your choice. Applications are still open. Earlier applicants get priority, so don't delay. Before then, get familiar with the housing options and review the different housing application processes. And you can do all of that at the Housing and Residence Life page or hrl.uncg.edu. Do keep in mind that we are still offering $1,500 housing grants, but availability is limited. So act fast so that you can secure your grant before it is too late. And additionally, for students who are not living on campus, we do have a grant for a $500 or for $500 off any meal plan of $1,000 or more. So for students not living on campus, we do still have grant options available to you as well. So please do take advantage of these opportunities while they still last. Now, again, if you do have any specific questions, do reach out to HRL at hrl.uncg.edu. That webpage is going to have all of their contact information. You can also call them at the number on this slide. Now, after registering for orientation and applying for housing, the next step is going to be figuring out your financial aid package, making sense of it, trying to understand it, and then accepting or declining all, nothing, or different aspects of your award. So I do want to point out your financial aid package is not an all or nothing offering. You are not required to accept everything that is included in your financial aid package in order to accept some of it. So you do have the freedom to pick and choose which portions of the aid package you would like to apply to your account. So when the student's financial aid award package is available, they can be viewed online through Unc Genie. And you can see the operations here on the side. So you'll go to enter a secure area. That's university slang for login. So you're going to click that and you'll be asked to provide your university ID and your PIN. Once you put that information in and you enter a secure area, you'll see new options. So the top tab up here, you will click student. So that will show you all the options available to you as a student, and you should see financial aid there as well. Now, once you do that, you'll have a couple steps here, and you can see that on the bottom right-hand side of the slide. You'll follow these steps in order to pull up your financial aid package after you select the specific year and term and all of that good stuff. And then you will be able to actually review each portion of your financial aid package and then ultimately view the terms and agreements and then accept or decline your package. Now, Uncg will review FAFSA applications as we receive them. Aid packages are usually awarded beginning in March, so they are already have been going out. So if you have not done your FAFSA, go ahead and do that as soon as possible so you can take advantage of any financial aid opportunities that you may be eligible for. Now, do keep in mind that students with additional requirements and those who filed later can expect to receive their award notices as their financial aid applications are finalized, and each item in the award must be accepted individually. So again, you do have the option to accept all, some, or none of any of the grants or loans that are provided to you in your aid package. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do, and this is something that you maybe are not so familiar with, so that's kind of where we're talking about it tonight, but you'll want to make sure that you are getting your immunizations and you get your immunization records shared with the university. So you're going to complete your immunization forms and submit medical history forms via the Student Health Services portal. Immunization records are required by law within 30 days of course registration. So it's essential that you do this to remain enrolled here at Uncg. Now, the Uncg Immunizations office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. This office is located on the second floor of the Anna M. Gov Student Health Center. So find immunization forms on the Student Health Center website and be sure to get those submitted as soon as possible because we are quickly approaching the start of fall semester. Now, once you take care of some of that stuff, some of you may have taken AP or IB courses in high school, and you may have wrapped up your exams, and you may be getting your scores back. So in preparation for studying here at UNC Greensboro, there are a couple different placement exams that you can take, right? So if you are fluent, for example, in a particular foreign language, you may want to go ahead and place into the highest possible level that you can so you can save yourself time and money and avoid having to take more courses than necessary. Anyone who is very strong or gifted in subjects like math also have the opportunity to place into more advanced math classes as well. So again, in preparation for studying a language at UNCG, it's important to know which course is your best starting point for that process. So if you plan to continue a language that you've already studied, you must take the appropriate online placement diagnostic before registering for classes. Now, if you've studied French, German, or Spanish in high school, please register for and complete the additional language placement diagnostic. This is fully online. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes to complete. It is multiple choice. There are no portions that require listening or speaking, so it is all multiple choice. And information on the testing process for other languages can also be found online. So I recommend you visit spartancentral.uncg.edu to find out more information about placement exams. So that one's a little bit more academic. Now we're going to get to a little bit more of a fun topic. So this is more social, if anything, and that's going to be submitting your student ID photo. So many of you who have confirmed your intent to enroll may be wondering, when do I get my student ID and when do I need to take a picture for my student ID? Well, the good news is you actually have the opportunity to submit your own photo for your Spartan card online using the Spartan Card Center website. So you can avoid long lines that way. And let's be honest, it's impossible typically to avoid all the lines. But by submitting your picture via photo link, you'll have one less line to stand in. So if you're having a bad hair day, sadly, we cannot allow you to preview your in-person photo. So if you come take your photo at Moran Commons on campus, it's kind of a one and done thing. We don't let you stand there and review it and keep retaking your photo over and over again, although we would all like for that to be true, right? So that's another reason why I recommend submitting your photo online through PhotoLink. And that way you're gonna know what you're gonna look like on your card. Okay, so you'll have the time and the luxury to review all of your photos and pick the one that you think best reflects yourself, right? And lastly, you can save time. So, please review the criteria for an acceptable card photograph, which you can find on the webpage for that. And be sure you do that before you submit your photo. If your photo doesn't meet the criteria, you may be required to resubmit it or take it in person. Also, please be sure to submit your photo at least 24 business hours before you plan to pick up your card so that you can ensure it will be ready for you when you arrive on campus. Again, professional results. Our office here does a phenomenal job of taking your photo. But if you have a professional headshot, why not use that? So just make sure it meets our criteria for an acceptable card photo, and then you can upload it yourself. Now, for every student who has not filed their FAFSA and shared it with the university, you may be required to complete what is called a W-9S tax form. Now, students use this form to provide their social security number or individual taxpayer identification number to an educational institution or a lender of a student loan and certify that the proceeds of a loan are being used or will be used solely to pay for qualified higher education expenses, if applicable. So this form can be downloaded from spartancentral.uncg.edu, which you can find on our forms page. You can also find it at irs.gov, or my favorite, if you go to Google or your favorite search browser or search engine and type in W-9S form, it should be one of the top, if not the first link that comes up. So again, if you have already filed your FAFSA and shared that information with UNCG, you should not worry about this. But if you have not filed your FAFSA or not applied for financial aid and you have not already shared this information with us, you will be asked to complete this form. So keep that in mind. And again, you can find more information about that again on spartancentral.uncg.edu. Now, this is going to be a really important one because there are negative aspects for not completing this step. Okay, so after graduation, you're going to want to send your official final high school transcripts to the Office of Undergraduate Admissions as soon as your graduation posts to your record. Okay, so as soon as they add that graduation date and all of your final grades to your transcript, request for that final high school transcript to be shared with us as soon as possible. Now, we also will need any AP or IB scores, any dual enrollment or early college transcripts in order to award the appropriate credits. So if you have taken dual enrollment courses or if you scored well on any AP or IB exams, and you want to claim that credit that you've earned, you are going to need to supply the documents that show proof of completion of a course with a grade or with an exam number. And we can talk a little bit more about that once we get to the Q&A portion. And again, you can submit any and all documents to us by July 15th. And you can mail those to us at UNCG Undergraduate Admissions, P.O. Box 26170, Greensboro, North Carolina 27402. And of course, you can find that mailing address on admissions.uncg.edu homepage. So once you've done all of that, those are pretty much the big things that you're going to be doing next, but I would be remiss if I did not touch on our Student Blue waiver. This is something you may not be aware of yet, but I promise you when your bill comes, if you haven't already taken care of this, you will for sure become aware of it at that point. All right. So about 2 to 3 days after you register for classes, you're going to want to go to Student Blue, to the Student Blue insurance portal and complete the enrollment process for student insurance plan, or complete the waiver process so that you can use your own health plan and have the student insurance premium removed from your account. Okay. Because what's going to happen if you don't waive the student insurance is that UNCG will assume that by not waiving out of it, you're opting into it. And that's, if you don't waive out of it, we assume that you're telling us you're good to be added on to UNCG's health insurance, right? After which you will be charged. Your account will be charged for that insurance. So if you are already insured and you don't want to pay for additional insurance through the university, that is okay. We only do this to make sure that all of our students are insured and are healthy. Again, if you already have your own insurance, please complete the Student Blue insurance waiver. It is currently live, so you should be able to go in and complete it now and share that with us so that we can go ahead and remove that from your fall bill. And lastly, if you read the title of this slide, then you probably know we're coming to an end with the next steps, because the last one I'm going to talk about is paying your tuition. So for those who are unfamiliar with what that process looks like, students are billed electronically each semester for tuition, fees, and room and board if applicable. All right. So billing schedules and payment deadlines will be shared at Soar as well as shared online. Please note that bills are sent to you, the student. They are not sent to your parents, and they're sent to you via your UNCG email address, and you can also view them on Genie, but these are issued after you have registered for classes. So be sure to stay up to date with your iSpartan email account, or your iSpartan account and your UNCG email as all of that information becomes available. If you have any specific questions, please ask them live. We do have representatives from offices that deal with many of these different next steps, and they are here to serve you, as we all are. And we just want to make sure that we are answering any and all questions that you do have, because we want to make this transition into UNC Greensboro as seamless and as simple for you as possible. So anything that we all can do to make that process easier for you, please let us know, because we are more than happy to help you. Now, that is the end of the presentation. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition over into the Q&A portion of the presentation. Now, we have already been receiving some questions live, and we also have some questions that were submitted before the session. So we're going to try to address a combination of those. But let's go ahead and get things kicked off with our first live question. So this is from one student. Hey, my name is Kevin, and I will be attending UNCG this fall. How do we pay for our tuition, and are there any payment plan options? So I talked a little vaguely about receiving that information, how it's going to come to UNC Genie, and you'll get notified via email. But I'm actually going to pass things over to Todd. So Todd, I'm going to run through that question for you one more time. How are we explicitly going to pay our tuition, and are there opportunities to set up payment plans?
Hey, Kevin, that's a great question. And like so many other questions, the answer is going to be, it depends. So if you have financial aid that is covering part of your bill, then generally what you're responsible for will be whatever financial aid does not cover. So there's a couple of different ways you can pay. You can pay online through the Student Account Center, which would be via an electronic check or an ACH transaction from your bank account, checking account usually, or you can pay by credit card. I will tell you a credit card payment is involves a 2.85% service fee. So those are two ways that you can pay electronically. You can also come into our office and you can pay by personal check or cash. You can mail a personal check. Really, all of your payment options are going to show up on Spartan Central. So if you go to spartancentral.uncg.edu, it's going to tell you all the different ways that you can pay. And the other thing it's going to tell you is when you can expect your bill, when the payment deadline will be, so that you'll know when you have to pay by. So a lot of good information there is right at your fingertips. That's just a virtual one-stop. You know, it really helps you in the business of being a student, whether it's financial aid, paying your bill, when's your bill going to be here. Last thing you asked about was payment plans, and there are payment plans available. That is also discussed there on that website, but depending on when you register and when you're billed, if you can, I think it's best to try to get into a payment plan as early as possible. Some people don't agree with that, but we have a 5-payment plan, a 4-payment plan, and a 3-payment plan. And their availability really depends on how early that you can enroll for them. The good thing about the 3-payment plan is that one actually comes last. So you don't have to make your payment basically until right before classes start, that first payment. So, you know, there's benefits to each plan. So I hope that helps. Feel free to text if I didn't answer anything to your liking. Thanks.
Awesome. Appreciate all that information, Todd. We do have another question. So the student did not supply a name, but they asked, if I filled out the FAFSA, is there anything else I need to do in order to receive aid? And Deborah, I'm going to let you take that one away. And I have a feeling I know what the first thing you're going to say is.
Yeah, you know the answer to that. The answer is, it depends. And unfortunately, everything is individualized. So it really depends on when we receive your application, what types of information we might need to complete your financial aid file at UNCG. One of the biggest questions that will come about is whether or not your file has been selected for federal verification. And that sounds like a really scary thing, but it's not. It simply means that your file was randomly selected to supply additional information to verify what you listed on the FAFSA. So there are some ways that you can minimize the impact of that. When you're completing your FAFSA, make sure you're using the IRS data retrieval tool when you're listing your tax information. And once you do that, if you are selected for verification, then you would not need to send us any actual tax documents, because that's what verification would require. Maybe a tax document to verify the tax information that was recorded. We do have a worksheet that you'll complete that gives us just some basic information. And, you know, again, depending on how quickly you respond to the request for information will really determine how quickly that process will be completed for you. Typically, if you provide your FAFSA, your verification documents within the first 2 weeks of the request, we should have that done for you in about 2 to 3 weeks. And you should be able to see your award once your verification review has been completed. If you're not selected for verification and everything is complete when we receive your initial FAFSA, then it may take 3 to 5 working days before you will see an award information on Genie. You will get an email notification letting you know that your award has been processed. So again, as Stone indicated, it's really important that you maintain and check your email frequently so that you can stay on top of that. We'll include instructions on accepting your aid. So yeah, so it depends.
We ended where we began.
Yes.
I appreciate it, Deborah. Thank you. So we do have another question here. We have a parent asking about the Student Health Center. So Rashawn, you might be able to help me with this one. They want to know what the process looks like when their student gets sick. Does it cost anything? What happens if they need medication or need to purchase medication, or if they get sick and they're prescribed a medication at Campus Health? Is that free to students? Is there a fee? And does Student Blue insurance cover any of that?
I feel like I got 5 questions in one.
You did. Sorry. Here, let me break it down for you. We'll start with the first one. What happens when my student gets sick? How do they get to see somebody on campus?
Well, I'm going to do the very best I can to answer this question, but I would encourage that parent to contact our office first thing tomorrow, because I may say something that may confuse them. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong information. So I want to send them to the correct source that they may have the correct information. But if you're a full-time student, you pay a student health fee. And because you pay that health fee, there's no charge to come in and see a doctor or a nurse. You are charged for any additional services rendered, which would include lab, x-ray, pharmacy, immunizations, things of that nature. So there are charges for any additional services, but just to come in and see a doctor, there is no charge, okay? Now, here at the Student Health Center, in the medical clinic, we are only in network with 3 insurance providers right now. We are currently working to try to do more third-party billing, but currently at this time, we're only in network with the Student Blue, Blue Cross Blue Shield that we offer. So that's not the Blue Cross Blue Shield that you may have, but the Student Blue, Blue Cross Blue Shield that we offer, Cigna and MedCost Preferred. So if you are in network one of those 3, we can file with your insurance. Now, we do offer courtesy filing, which means that we can file the claim on behalf of your student if your student doesn't feel comfortable take care of that claim themselves. So what they'll do is bring in their insurance card. We'll file the claim on their behalf. It's their responsibility to follow up with the insurance pertaining to that claim. I do also want to mention that the pharmacy, it's a little confusing over here, so that's why I'm going to give them the phone number after we're done. The pharmacy does accept most insurances, so they can file with most third-party insurances. It works just like CVS, Walgreens, or Walmart. You will come in, show your pharmacy card, and they can file the claim with your insurance card company directly. So now we do offer counseling services. There's no charge to see a counselor as long as you're a full-time student as well. So if anything I said was confusing, I do apologize to the group. That's a pretty loaded question. 336-334-5340. Our front desk staff are more than willing to help you get the answers to your questions if anything I said was confusing. Hopefully I answered that question the best as I could. So I do apologize.
No, I appreciate it. And it was a lot. I'm glad you didn't lead with it all depends, but in some cases it does, right?
I wanted to, but I think we already got enough of that.
And this is a follow-up. I think some parents started hearing you talking and started submitting more health-related questions. So I'll ask you one more, but they want to know, do we have real doctors on campus, or are they like med students, or who's going to be seeing their student when they go to student health?
Now, I can't answer that. Yes, we have actual doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners right here in the Student Health Center. Yes, sir, we do. They are actual real live doctors here at the Student Health Center. Yes, as well as counselors. We have board certified physicians and board certified clinical psychologists as well. So we are a real clinic right here directly on campus. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Very cool. And they just keep rolling in. They really care about their students' health here. They want to know, this parent wants to know, let's see. This is more about Student Blue. And they want to know, what does Student Blue cover? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you could maybe specify, I know you said Student Blue is in network, and what can that do for them versus having other insurance?
Well, I'm going to have to give you the shortened version because we'll be here till 7 o'clock if I told you all the benefits. I have another phone number for you to call after I'm done. Basically, the Student Blue, Blue Cross Blue Shield plan we offer covers any accident, illness, or injury, and any women's wellness mandated by the state of North Carolina. So again, that's accident, illness, injury, and any women's wellness mandated by the state of North Carolina. If you want to follow up with the benefits summary, I will give you our specialist's number. Her name is Miss Shelley Queen, and she can be reached at 336-334-5759. Again, 336-334-5759. Or if you want to visit our website, shs.uncg.edu. In the top nav menu, click on insurance, scroll down to student insurance, and you also have the student blue information as well if you want to contact them directly.
Very cool. And Rashawn, we're getting a ton more questions. I'll come back to you because I do want to ask these questions, but I'll give you a little bit of a break. We actually have some questions pertaining to AP and IB scores. So this will be a fun one. Dina, if you want to tackle this one. My AP and IB scores are listed on another school's transcript. All right. Do I still need to submit those official score reports, or will the scores that are on the transcript be sufficient?
Yes, that's a great question. And one we get asked a lot, especially for new first-time students. The answer is not, it depends. That's a good. You have to have the official score report from the College Board for AP scores, and IB for International Baccalaureate. We need the official score report. The reason for that is because let's say your AP score, your test scores are listed on another school's transcript. Every school has a different way to evaluate those scores. And so in order to ensure we're giving you the appropriate equivalent credit at UNCG, we want to make sure we see those official score reports. And so anytime that, if you're taking an AP or IB test, or you have college credit that has been transferred elsewhere, we want the original source. So thank you for that question.
Oh, thank you for your answer. And if you want to follow up, kind of in the same vein, I took dual enrollment courses, and I've already submitted my high school transcript with the courses listed. Do you need the official college transcript in order to award credit, or having a grade on my high school transcript that's just listed as a dual enrollment course, is that good enough?
Also another good question. So a lot of high school students will take dual enrollment, and then those dual enrollment courses will be listed on their high school transcript because they're also satisfying high school requirements as well. We still need the official college transcript in order to award you college credit. So whenever you are ordering and requesting your high school transcript, if you are a dual enrollment student, if you're taking classes at a community college, whatever your situation is, you need to also order your official college transcript as well to be sent to UNCG. And you can do that electronically, or you can do that, via paper as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And I believe this one would go to you as well. An admitted student texted us and wants to know how they go about changing their major, or if they can change their major. And if so, how do they do that at this point in the process now that SOAR has begun?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. I don't work directly with major changes, but we do handle that in our office. Now, it depends on the major. This answer, it does depend. It depends on the specific major that you want to change to. So you can change your major really at any time. What I encourage you to do is first talk to the major that you want to change into, because there could be specific requirements that need to be met, or there could be alternative major forms you need to complete before that major change process happens. And so it's fairly common for students to attend SOAR or apply and fill out an application and then originally decide to just change their major after they've registered or been here for a semester. Fairly common, not a big deal. Different majors have different requirements. And so what I encourage you to do is just talk to the new major or advising office that'll house your major to see what their requirements are. In most cases, you'll submit a major change form online, which can be found on the registrar's office website or Spartan Central. And then you can have your, that form is processed within a few weeks. And then you'll see that emphasized and changed on your degree works. In some cases, you will need to submit an alternative major change form in order to process that because they have a specific GPA requirement, things like that. So first, I would encourage you to talk to the advising office of where you want to change, and then they can direct you to which process you're going to want to follow. But yes, there is a form to complete and change.
Awesome. Very cool. Ooh, we have another live question. Todd, I believe this one's going to come back to you. This is kind of a two-part question. When are payments due, without a payment plan, just in general, when are payments due for fall semester of this year? And does semester tuition need to be paid in full, I guess, before the semester begins? And I think that kind of ties into the first part of the question. And then there's another question that I'll ask you after that about payment plans. But yeah, when do they need to, or when can they expect to need to pay for the fall semester?
Well, generally, it depends on when you register. So if you have registered by July 7th, you should receive a bill July 8th, and that one is due by July 29th. So we generally try to give people at least 3 weeks from the time they get the bill to when it's actually the payment is due. So if you register after July 8th, then your bill is going to come around August 10th, I believe. No, that's not right. Actually, I think it's right after July 29th. I don't even have the date in front of me. But anyway, then your payment is due on the first day of class. So, or by the first day of class, I should say. You don't have to pay in full if you're enrolled in a payment plan. So basically, your payment plan, it does involve a fee to enroll. It's like $35 for a 5-pay or 4-pay plan. And then you're going to pay a portion of your tuition and fees, or your balance, I should say, at the time you enroll in the plan. One other thing I think is very important, if there's someone else that you think is going to be paying part of your bill, you know, whether that's your parent, your spouse, your best friend, whoever you can get to pay your balance, I would strongly encourage, you know, as soon as you can get into Unc Genie, to go in, log into Genie, go to the Student Account Center, and set that person up as an authorized user. The reason why I say that is, as an authorized user, they're going to receive a notification when you have a bill that's available to view. So, you know, if you get in there early and you have a bill that goes out July 8th, that's going to come to you at your email address, but it can also go to your authorized user. So if you have a parent or someone else paying the bill, that's going to help for them to get notified, and then they'll know when that bill is due. The other thing, when you're in the Student Account Center, you can set up an alternative email address. So if you have an email address that you look at more frequently than uncg.edu email address, you know, Gmail or whatever it is, Hotmail, whatever you use, the same things, the same communications that get sent as far as bills, as tax forms or whatever, payment plan, installment reminders, all those things that come from the Student Account Center can go to that email address. So you're more likely to receive it if you don't check your Uncg email address, you know, daily.
Okay, very cool. And as you can imagine, Todd, once you started providing all that information, it prompted even more questions to come in for you.
Sure.
But you did end up answering one, coincidentally. That was the one about authorization. But now someone would like to know, this is in regard to payment plans. They want to know, how do you is there like anything you need to do to qualify for a payment plan? And if so, like, will our credit, which is bad, influence our ability to get a tuition payment plan?
Thankfully, no, that there is no credit check or anything like that. The payment plan is pretty much 100% through the university. So with the plan, what it's going to do is going to take whatever your remaining balance is. If you have some financial aid, say, so you have your tuition and fees, let's say it's $5,000 and you have financial aid for $1,000, then your out-of-pocket cost might be $4,000. So it would take that amount and it would break it up into either 5 payments, 4 payments, or 3 payments. And that's really it. When you enroll, you're going to be told exactly what's due at that time, plus what's due and when each installment is due after that time. And just, just for your information, there is no interest, there is no interest fee or anything like that. I mean, it's just your balance broken down into 4 or 5 payments.
Very cool. And someone would like for you to clarify about authorized users. What are authorized users for payment plans?
Yeah, so an authorized user, is really anyone that a student would like to have access to be able to view their account, basically what their charges are, what their balances are. And there are some different levels of access that you can provide authorized users. You don't have to provide every single thing. And some of those levels might be, can they view my bill? Can they view any tax statements that are coming to me? So you do have some things there. I pretty much just advise everybody, if you really have an authorized user like a parent, just let them have it all. It's not any like top secret information they're going to get to there. As an authorized user, one of the good things about that is your account information. Say if you wanted to pay online with a credit card or with a checking account, that information is secure to you. That means your student doesn't see it. No one else sees it except for you. Same thing as if you have a student account and you have an authorized user, your payment information is secure to you, the student. Your authorized user is not going to see that. They're not going to have access to your banking account. That's just the way of the world today. You want to try to be as secure as possible, just in case someone wants to get access to your parent's account or something like that. So I hope that helped. As an authorized user, you can create a payment plan for your student. Your student can create a payment plan for themselves. It really doesn't matter who creates the payment plan. Either person can pay on the balance after that payment plan is created, but you can just have one payment plan per student.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And I appreciate you fielding all those questions. Just a quick reminder for everybody still viewing, you should be able to see a number on screen. If at any point, if you're just joining us or if you didn't get a chance to write the number down, please feel free to text us any and all questions that you do have. We will answer as many questions as we can before the end of our program this evening. And again, you can ask us any questions regarding final steps. We have representatives from financial aid, the university registrar's office, cashier, and student accounts, as well as student health services. So please feel free to ask any questions. We will do our very best to answer them for you live here tonight. So Deborah, we're going to come back around to you. We do have another question, and this one pertains a little bit more to aid. So our scholarships from Uncg applied to the bill.
Good question. It depends on the type of scholarship. If they're school-based scholarships, so for example, if you have a Uncg scholarship that's been offered to you by the admissions office or by one of our departments on campus or through your financial aid award by way of completing your FAFSA, those funds will show as a pending credit on your student bill. So when you receive that, it will show as anticipated credit, I should say, is probably the word. And as Todd mentioned, will be subtracted from the balance that's due. The actual payment of any university money or any federal money will not take place until approximately 10 days before classes begin. You will still get credit for that, but it will not actually pay to your bill until about 10 days before classes start. If you have private scholarships, so if you have a scholarship from your high school or from a local community group, you will be able to, if you send us the check, if we get the check before your bill is due, then yes, that will be applied to your bill and you would see the credit for that as well. So I think I might have blacked out there for a moment. Yeah, there was a little bit of glitch in my internet. Sorry about that. I think the storm is passing over my house. But just to repeat that, if you have a private scholarship and your donor has submitted the check to UNCG before your bill is due, is printed, you will see that payment on your bill. So whenever we get the check, it will be posted. UNCG-based scholarships and grants and funding will be applied 10 days before classes begin.
Awesome. Very cool.
Okay,
So
sorry.
no, you are very good.
Yeah.
You're good. Are kind of running close here on time. We got about maybe 4 or 5 more minutes before we wrap it up, and I'll have everyone reintroduce themselves. But we have so many good questions. I want to try to see if we can power through these. So Rashawn, Dina, and Todd, I do have questions for you all. So Rashawn, what are the counseling options at UNCG as far as like mental health counseling, and are they free to students?
Sure. So any student interested in counseling, I was advised to tell them first to visit the Counseling Center website, shs.uncg.edu/cc. You will need to do a consultation screening. And then based upon your answers from the consultation screening, the counselors will reach out to you and have you come in, or during this time, they'll probably do a Zoom interview with you to see what exactly are your needs. We do offer individual counseling for those people who may not, like to be around other people. And we do offer group counseling in the form of workshops and groups. And so based upon your consultation screening, the counselor will make the best recommendations of which they feel would be beneficial for you. And in those groups, we deal with anxiety, stress management, homesickness. We have a lot of students coming from different states, different countries. If you and your roommate aren't getting along, we deal with that. Coping during a pandemic, whatever you may be tackling in your daily life, our counselors are here to assist you. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're a full-time student, you've paid that health fee. So there is no charge to see a counselor at Student Health Services. But we do encourage you to take that consultation screening first.
Very cool. I appreciate it. Quickly, we're running low on some time, but Dina, I took some courses at community college, but they didn't transfer to UNCG. Why not?
Oh, good question. So there's probably 2 reasons for that. It's a busy time for transfer articulation. So first you'll want to see if all of your credits have been articulated so far. So have you submitted your most recent transcript? We articulate in waves. And so if you articulate a transfer transcript and you submit one later on, you just go back into the queue. So you want to make sure first that you've submitted your most recent transcript. Another thing to keep in mind is not every course from a 2-year school or community college will transfer. Most will, not all will though. We do not typically transfer courses that are technical in nature. And so things like welding or cosmetic, therapy, things like that. Typically for 2-year schools, those general education courses are going to be key, and those will generally transfer. And so if you're seeing courses that are not on your transfer credit for whatever reason on your Spartan link, if you notice it as a technical course, you know why. That's why it's not identified on there. If you have specific questions though, you can email us at transfercredit@uncg.edu and we can clarify if there are specific reasons as well.
Awesome. And Todd, hopefully you'll be able to answer this one pretty quickly, but a parent is asking, how can I see an estimate or expected tuition amount?
Yes, so actually there's a new feature on Spartan Central. If you go to that spartancentral.uncg.edu and look under tuition and billing, I believe is the tab. We're still getting used to it. It's a brand new site. There is an estimator there as one of the drop-down things. So you can go in and you can put, how many hours I think my student's going to be full-time, they're a resident, they're on campus, or they're online, they're in this housing, they're in this meal plan, and it will give you a pretty good estimate. Just keep in mind it is an estimate, but it is, I think, within at least $100 or so. It tries to round it one way or the other, but it is pretty close. The actual tuition and fee schedules are there as well, but just to get an estimate, that's where I would recommend going. Awesome, very cool. And I know I said those were it, but
one more question came in, and I do not like leaving unanswered questions on the table. And Deborah, I know you can answer this one quickly, but what is the difference between a subsidized and an unsubsidized loan?
Very good question. The subsidized loan is both are federal loans. The subsidized loan has interest subsidized or paid by the federal government while your student is enrolled, and the unsubsidized does not. So you're responsible for the interest from the time that the loan comes into the school to be applied to your bill. With the unsubsidized loan, the interest continues to accrue or adds up during the time that you're enrolled and up until the time that you start repayment of the loan, which typically begins 6 months after graduation for both of the loans. So just remember, subsidized, good loan, no interest while you're in school. Unsubsidized, interest is accruing while you're enrolled.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who's joining us this evening and who took the time out of their evenings to watch this live stream and learn a little bit more about what your next steps are. Again, our goal is to make the transition to UNC Greensboro as seamless and smooth as possible for you. We are all resources for you, and we are all here to assist you during different parts of this process. At any point, if you have questions later on, you are welcome to continue reaching out to us here at the admissions office. You are also welcome to reach out to any representatives at any of the offices that we've listed here. So financial aid, the University Registrar's Office, Student Health Services, or cashiers and student accounts. Please, if you have very specific questions, like you've heard frequently tonight, it depends, and everybody's situation is a little bit different. So if you want the most accurate and up-to-date answer to your very unique and specific questions, please reach out after this live stream to these respective offices so that they can help assist you through that particular process. All right. And I wanted to thank all of our panelists here for joining us. And I'm actually going to go back through and ask you all to reintroduce yourselves and then give any last little tidbit or any final words of wisdom to our guests this evening. So Deborah, I'm going to start with you again. So take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Stone. And thanks again for everybody joining us. My name again is Deborah Slade. I'm the Assistant Director for Outreach in the Financial Aid Office. I've been there almost 20-something years, 25 years. Okay, we'll say that. But my biggest tip for you all is to don't wait until the last minute to finalize your financial aid or to get your information in. As Stone mentioned, if you have questions or difficulties accessing or getting through the process, please reach out to us. Please call us. Please email us. We will be more than happy to help you get through that process. But don't wait until the last minute to get things done, because sometimes things take a little bit longer if you wait to the last minute. So get it done early. Do it now.
Oh, you heard it from Deborah. Get it done. Todd.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with everyone tonight. We're really looking forward to seeing you here, and you're off to a great start. If you're here tonight, you're getting questions answered. You're going to get a lot of information thrown at you. You go to orientation, you're going to get probably a little more detail than you got tonight. But even so, I mean, with so much coming in, there's a lot as far as the business of being a college student. There's a lot to being a college parent. And, you know, if you don't feel like you've gotten the answer that you need, feel free to reach out. Our email address is cashier@uncg.edu. You don't have to wait till the day of class. You don't have to wait until orientation. You can reach out anytime. If you have a question and you think of something, just send us an email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can with an answer. I wish you all the best in the start of your college career. I mean, you're going to be a Spartan. That's awesome. Oh, and it took me until I was a junior or a senior to figure out I could go to the Student Health Center for free. So please take advantage of that.
Wow, it's a great segue into Rashawn. Rashawn, if you want to take it away from us.
Well, one clarity, it's not free. So again, I want to say it's not free. Feel free to give us a call at 336-334-5340. We are here. If you need us, it's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us. So if anything I said was unclear, give us a call. Visit our website, shs.uncg.edu, for more additional questions on immunization compliance and verifying health insurance. And we can't wait to see you.
Awesome. And then Dina, we'll have you round us out here.
Hey folks, it was nice having you here again. My name is Dina Kowal. I'm a transfer credit and articulation analyst, so I review your transfer credit along with my team. My best advice to you is just submitting your official transcripts. So congratulations, and we cannot wait to have you here at UNCG.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. Again, my name is Stone Yates. I'm an admissions counselor here at UNC Greensboro, and I encourage you all, if you still have questions, please take the advice that we've all given you, and that advice is to please reach out to us as soon as possible so that we can help you. We hope that you all enjoyed the information presented to you tonight, and we hope to see you all soon for the fall semester. But in the meantime, continue to stay healthy and safe, take care, and we will see you soon.